Yep.
Howdy, gang.
Hey guys.
Howdy.
Okay. Just waiting for Michael.
Okay.
He was having issues having things come up, meaning Slack stuff come up. But I told him when the meeting was, and he said he was going to be here. So.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, I think the schedule for teaching this week was we were going to hear from John first, and then Michael, and then me, because of how the code topics were listed. That was what we decided last time. Is that correct?
Yeah,
everyone?
I don't know,
Yep.
can we vote on it?
that'll
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, leave it to John to want to vote. He goes first.
yeah.
Well, that's not fair.
By council.
Well,
What was that?
oh,
You
there's
do
one.
everything by council.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we vote on everything.
Common consent, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that was what we all came up with last time. I think it was even Jason's idea. Or maybe it was Mark's and then Mark dropped. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Are we going to be okay with 4 people? Is that what we see in most groups is 4 or 5 or?
Well, that was one of the things that Melissa posed to me last night, what I thought.
Yeah.
If we can, why don't we talk about anything you want to cover with me, then I can get out of the way and you can do your teaching.
Well, I had a question about the, there was a piece in there about turning in some, oh, I can't remember what it was called. I mean, we're supposed to turn something in every week that kind of says what we're doing or?
Here's how you can get an easy A in the class, okay? Rewrite the syllabus. Do that, and I will give you an A, and you can do whatever you want.
Sweet.
All right. Yeah, that syllabus is.
I'll get working on it.
Well, my thing is, you know, we're supposed to turn something in as in, hey, Brother James, can you go over my code or look at my stuff? I mean, how do we go about doing that?
All right. Well, the spreadsheet I sent this weekend, I don't know if you've looked at it, and I don't know if you've especially looked at the, and I probably didn't explain it well enough when I handed it out, but the sub-tabs. There's the first tab that tells you the what ifs. You know, you can kind of experiment. If I do this well on this topic and I do this well, then this will be my grade.
Yeah.
And there are sub-tabs. The other tabs in there go over each of the assignments. And Melissa, you've got it up there. So if you'll click on Melissa's screen, you can see. So yeah, Melissa, click on Code Topics. What I've done is I've gone through the emails that I sent to my students for the last couple of semesters, and I gave you exactly what I gave them to tell them this is what I want to get from you. This is what I expect. So for the rest of the semester, I'm not going to deviate much from any of the tabs here that you see at all. That still doesn't answer your question about what you hand in each week, and I will answer that. But I'd encourage you to go over look at these tabs, and they say, you know, what am I looking for? So what I would like you to in order to stay on track, I won't say what you have to turn in, because officially you don't have to turn in anything until like week 13. Students who do that are not going to do very well.
That scares me.
You wouldn't believe, well, you probably would. I had last semester, 2 semesters ago, it was procrastination disaster. It was so many of them just put it off. Anyway, you guys are not going to do that because you're the good team. So
we're trying.
This is week 3. So week 3 until 10, you are doing research and training on the different topics.
Mm-hmm.
And I would encourage you to set a schedule that you will produce something for each of the code topics by the end of week 8. And turn it into me on week 3 and 5 and 7. And that way I'm going to come back to you and I'm going to say, I looked at your JSON and you're parsing a JSON object, but all it is you've got a name, you've got name, colon, Melissa. That's not very impressive. I want to see something, a serious example of JSON. And so if we start early on that, then I can tell you, where you're weak and where I want you to head.
Okay.
And we'll have a good conversation.
So on the basic stuff, like the first couple, that's kind of basic stuff, right? Meaning it's the JSON, the AJAX, and local storage. That's where you kind of want to see kind of more in-depth stuff.
Yes. In fact, if you look at the spreadsheet there on code topics, for the second column, it says don't spend a lot of time on these because you're going to naturally use JavaScript everywhere.
Okay. Okay, because I'm doing the JavaScript object stuff today, and it just didn't seem like there was a ton to do. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So
you're going to cover those bases. 1 and 2, you're going to cover those bases. Just if you're going to do a good job, you're going to do those naturally. So I wouldn't spend a lot of effort on that.
But we need to turn in a piece for that, right? For you to look at that when we're done, or
what you could do when you turn your JSON in, and you've got a JSON object there with an array that you've looped through the items in the array for JSON. I'm naturally going to give you some points for JavaScript already.
Okay.
Just because you could say, hey, Brother James, here's my JSON. And you'll notice that I got some really good JavaScript action going on in there. And I'll give you points in both of those.
Okay.
Yeah, something the professor and I talked about last time was that when you're actually completing something, that for JavaScript, so say I was to do local storage and I did some sort of array or something for it, then I would put up here in JavaScript ready to submit and then say C local storage for my example.
Okay.
Or something, so that he kind of knows, oh, the JavaScript has been done, but it's been done in this one. But
Okay, I've been doing each one separate as I'm going along.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And that's fine, but I want you to know that you can.
Well, my thing too is you'll probably see like the first 2 JavaScript ones that I do. I mean, they're fairly basic, and then as I get further down in, hopefully it'll get better, and the points can go up on the other ones as I go along.
That could work too.
So,
and it will. You don't get full points in anything until I see it working in symphony with the other topics.
okay.
So if you do a great example with JSON, you're probably, use AJAX to read a JSON file, have an array, and put the array items, individual items, into local storage, and there I start to see that you understand how they all work together.
Okay.
So in fact, this week I'm putting together a piece of code. It's called Fun with JSON. So I know you'll love it. And you know what IMDb is? There's a service that I've subscribed to where I've downloaded 100,000 movies and 100,000 actors, actresses, and they're all JSON files. And so I'm going to show you an example, of course, with the greatest movie ever, which is, this is worth 5 points. What's the greatest movie ever? Casablanca.
Okay, we'll remember that. Can you ask the question next time?
You can.
For the 5 points.
Take that quiz as many times as we want, right?
That's right. Just keep submitting it. But I've got this JSON file of Casablanca. It lists all the actors, lists when it was put out, who the writers, the directors are. It's got 100 quotes in there. So there's an array of actors with actor objects. There's an array of quotes with quote objects. And if you can master that, then you've got a handle on JSON. And because it's something familiar, because everybody's seen Casablanca, they'll recognize the actors and the quotes, and I think it'll hopefully turn some lights on with what you can do with it. And I'll be doing it with JavaScript, with Ajax. So hopefully it'll be a worthwhile example to show.
Right now that's still a little bit over my head, so I'll get there.
Okay. And let me correct Melissa. It's not Professor James. There are instructors on campus who would have serious problems calling me professor.
Professor James. Brother James works, right?
That's right, Brother James.
I slip up.
So
that's okay. I appreciate the respect, but
so another question I had, and maybe the syllabus is correct or wrong or whatever, but it kind of broke down the grade. Like I think 35% was this code stuff, 25% or whatever was professionalism, letting you know what's going on. How do we work on that side, on the professionalism and talking with you? And
based on what I said 5 minutes ago, what do you think? Think about the spreadsheet.
Yeah, keeping you up to date on all the stuff we're doing and filling out the spreadsheet. Okay.
Go look at the spreadsheet for professionalism. And I promise you that is everything I have told my students for the last couple of semesters. So I'm not going to surprise you with, oh, how come you didn't do this, or you didn't tell me anything.
Okay.
So I need to start handing that out the first week of the semester. I don't, because I think they don't need to worry about professionalism now. The final reflection's not due until week 14. But if you're a conscientious student, you're thinking, oh my heck, what do I have to do? Do I have to get ready for this? Do I need to deliver something? So that's why I've got these tabs here.
Okay.
And
I see that.
We're handing this out on week 1 to everybody.
Okay.
And if you have questions, let me know. The professionalism, a lot of these things, students will try and just tell me, I taught 3 times, I answered questions, and then they give me a dump of their weekly journal entries. That doesn't show any deep thinking on what you've learned here in the process.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to walk out of this class so that next year, when you're working for somebody and the team is not working out, you're going to think, last year I had a disastrous team, and this is how we turned it around. I want you to think about those principles that you learned in this class, about good professionalism, about supporting each other, about learning how to learn. And I know I just got each week you guys fill out the quiz, and I got the results of that today, probably from, I don't know if it's from just Wednesday or a week ago. And I know there's a lot of frustration because you're thinking, there's no guidelines. What the heck am I supposed to be doing in this class? And I appreciate how frustrating that is. But that is the real world, more often than not. And I've brought this up more times than you guys probably care to hear about, but here I am. I'm 63 years old, and I am working at this company, and we're producing curriculum to help people become entry-level programmers. If they don't want to go to a 4-year school, what we have will bring them up to speed, almost. And so I have had to learn 6 or 8 different code topics well enough to be able to teach them at a college level here in the last couple of months. And many other jobs I've had where the boss said, hey, we're going to do OS2 programming, and you need to go figure out how to do that, and we're not going to train you. So it is frustrating, but that frustration should, hopefully, it'll spur you on to think, all right, how should I approach this? How should I find resources? And maybe I ought to write those resources down. I want to have a library of resources that can be my go-to when I need to look up something. If you will look, and I need to remind the students that discussion topic I set up in the discussion board, where I want you to submit resources for each of the code topics. That should become a great library for you as you go through this class and future classes. Ron, yeah, I haven't looked at that lately. How are people doing on it? Not very well, but we're only week 3.
There's one other person besides the professor that's posted.
Besides Brother James.
Sorry, besides Brother James. Like I said, I spoke up. I have 2 other quote professors and 1 Brother James, so I'm trying to, it melds together. I'll work on it.
So another question I have is, just slipped my mind. Oh, are you going to continue to do the Adobe Connect stuff, or I thought it was over. I didn't realize there was another one last night.
I do it for about 3 weeks, and then by then everybody's with their teams.
Okay.
So I'm doing it tomorrow night as well. Melissa was with us last night. We only had 2 other people, I think, or maybe 1 other person.
Yeah, it was just 1 other person, and then he left, and it was just you and me.
Yeah. And I'm going to do it next week, and then after that, I probably will discontinue.
Okay.
But if you want to have a one-on-one, just say, Brother James, I'm really frustrated. I don't understand how to do something. My team is just, they can't help me at all. They don't know what they're doing. Could you take a look at my code? And we'll find some time and we'll sit down and talk about things.
Okay.
But I'm your resource of last resort.
Okay.
But I don't want you to just be ready to jump off a tall building before you say, I need to give somebody a call and get some help.
Okay.
Yeah, first resort, everybody, is the Slack group. You have an issue, post it there. One of us will get it, and we'll say, oh, either, nope, I can't do that, or check with so-and-so, or, sorry, jump off a cliff. I'm just kidding.
So, is it better?
This is like church welfare assistance. Look to yourself, look to your family, and then give Brother James a call.
Okay. So is it best to go in a particular order on these topics, or?
The order they are listed is probably as good as any to go with. JSON, AJAX, and local storage are very tightly. You can do a lot of great stuff with just those 3 altogether. Then DOM and CSS, you could do them in either order. And then the HTML tags, Melissa, no, see, I think John. Is John? Yeah, John.
Yeah.
I looked at your GitHub site today. I saw that you had a link to it in
fag-john.github.io.
Yeah. So, and what you've got there for the HTML tags is just about good enough. I don't expect too much from that one. So,
okay.
I like your audio example.
Okay. I'm guessing at it. I'm learning this stuff as we go. So,
hey, John, the audio example, is that using Canvas?
The canvas is yes, it is.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So you've touched the bases. Can I show how do I show my screen? Let's see.
I did use the two audio example and the video example are both using Canvas.
Okay. Where do I click to show my screen?
Should be on the left-hand side. There's a bar. It's the green one. I'm sharing it right now, but
Oh, can I take over for half a second?
yeah, everybody can share their screen at the same time.
Okay. This is, let me clean this up. I am writing a program that's going to be 99% Canvas. It's not very impressive right now, but all of these lines that you see drawn, that's all using Canvas. And my thought bubble here needs some work done on it. And so you could do an entire application using Canvas. Or what it's going to be is a financial planning application for the self-reliance financial personal finances class.
Mm-hmm.
And so this will be a list of all your debts, and you'll use this pointer to look at where your debts, your projected debts are going to be. That's all in Canvas. So you can do something really exotic with it, but depending on the direction. Okay, I want to unsave now. I mean unshare. There we go. So if you would like to really invest yourself in doing something like that with Canvas, that's fine. If you were to go a little bit weaker on the CSS and go really exotic on the Canvas, I'd want to have that conversation with you. But Canvas is not used as much as other things. It's great. I'm very excited about this application I'm going to do, but most of your work should focus on CSS, DOM, and those kinds of items.
So with what John has, is that a basic, a working, or a skilled understanding?
Well, I go pretty wimpy when it comes to that. Because if you can put up a video, if you can put up an audio, and you can draw something in the canvas, and what I liked is a lot of people just draw an X on a canvas. John showed some initiative, and he did the hollow font text. So John's going to get full points with that example.
Okay.
That is the easiest 10 points you'll get into class.
Hey, I'm taking whatever I can get.
Okay.
Plus my five points for Casablanca, and an extra and an extra 15 if I watch it again tonight.
Oh, that's such a good show. It's the 75th anniversary this year. You've got to watch it.
What year anniversary?
You kid.
These are my last classes I'm trying to survive, and I haven't done programming in like 20-something years.
Oh.
So.
Hi, kiddo. How are you?
Yeah.
Eat, Mama. Mama.
Yes.
All right. You guys have any other questions for me? You need to get to your training.
The only other question I had was you were going to show us how to send out invites for the Google Plus community.
Oh. Melissa, share your screen and bring up your Google community.
So this is the community. This is where everything's been posted so far.
Okay, see the 3 dots there on the right above. Click on that.
Me, Mama.
Collection. Oh, this is a collection.
Is this not a community?
Yeah, it's a collection.
Okay, how do I make a community? Because I thought this was
Click
what I
on the
needed.
hamburger.
The hamburger?
Hamburger to the left of Google.
This is not a
yeah.
hamburger.
It's a hamburger.
Haven't you heard that
Triple
terminology
burger.
before?
I've never heard that before.
And I know that's a
That is
hamburger.
I have heard
a
this
hamburger.
Okay, Melissa, click on communities.
Yep. That's where I'm at.
All right, click on yours, I guess.
My what?
Your see where
Oh, at the top.
uh-huh. There you go. Create a community. Let's go ahead and create it right now.
I want to be team 1.
No, we don't need to be asked to join.
You can name it.
Sorry, we were given team 2, so I was keeping that one.
But I feel like we're number
Okay.
1.
Now click on the 3 dots there. Manage members. There you go. And oh yeah, there you go. Invite. No members found.
Not that one.
Band invited.
It's got to be under members somewhere. Manage members.
Manage members, maybe.
It's got to be under the managed.
Yeah, no, that's why I was confuzzled.
Step down. We don't want to do that.
No.
Click on the drop members, moderator, invited. And,
Yeah, that's just a way to sort.
click on the little 3 dots of the.
Don't want to do that.
Okay.
What did I do?
Join.
Click the back arrow on the browser.
Okay.
Okay.
Oof.
The networking thing to the left of where you were at.
It's a little
There you go. Click on. Yeah. Click on share. Invite people.
There we go. That's a weird way to do it.
Yes, it is. Okay, so type in GT Jan. Okay, type in John. You bet. There you go. Now type in GT James. No, that's not me. At gmail.com. There you go. That's me. And there you go. This will set your team up and you'll be a community.
What was your last name, Michael?
Campbell, like the soup. This is going to be an issue.
Yeah, which one?
Wow.
Can you put in his email address?
Yeah.
That's probably easier.
Sure, yeah, what is that?
Let me make sure it's,
The
it's Mike.
guys. Invite
Mike
them.
Campbell A.
Mike Campbell A.
Dots shouldn't. Dots aren't a thing. Like, let's see. Maybe. Let's see. I can find what mine actually.
Huh.
Yeah, there's a lot of Michael Campbells.
Yes. Your name's not unique like mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, or mine.
Weird that it's not showing up when you do my email.
Is it Campbell? It's Campbell.
Campbell.
Did
Did I spell it
That's
wrong?
Yeah, it's Campbell.
Oh, Camp. Okay. There we go.
There.
You said Campbell like the soup, not Campbell.
Well, Campbell soup is.
I believe Campbell soup is with a P.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it is. I don't buy Campbell soup anymore. Okay,
Yeah.
Jason, what is yours?
Oh, so Jason, mine's easy. Jason Catmull, CATMULL.
Hey, Jason, are you related to the cat mole from Pixar?
Yep, Ed Catmull.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know him very well, but he's, he's probably my grandfather's cousin's son, I believe.
Okay, all right. Well, interesting. Hey, you guys, I'm going to sign up. I'm going to take off here.
Okay.
So if you got any other questions, email them to me. And there, Melissa, I just got your invite. I see it came through. Well, good luck. I think you guys are going to be all right.
Thanks for your help.
And I'm available if you need me. But I think you've got a good team. And a team of 4, you'll be just fine.
Okay, so should we switch around our schedule so that it's 2 people teaching each week? Or how should we switch the schedule around?
Take a vote. I'm serious. Counsel together with each other, look at the topics, and decide how you want to to balance it all out. With 4 people and if you repeat 4 times, 5 times, what did I say? I said 5 times. You'll cover the important ones. The JavaScript doesn't need to be covered at all. Very much, more than 3. And some of the others will need more detail. So you guys talk about the ones that are important. And leave some room at the end of the week, at the end of the time period, because you may want to do an extra bit of training on DOM or something like that.
Now, are there 10 weeks, or is it week 9 is the last one that we're...
Week 10 is the last one.
Okay, because we only went up to week 9.
Okay,
that would be,
all right.
that would be why we were only doing 4 each.
Yeah, 11, 12, 13 is for the project.
Okay, we will fix this at the end of our meeting and resubmit it. So.
Yeah, well, think about it. You may not want to change it until you've had. I'm happy for people to reevaluate. So if you want to wait to evaluate until later, that's fine with me too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, my battery's going down here, so I'm going to sign off.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Good luck, you guys.
Thank you.
You're fine.
Thank you.
So, really quick,
Yeah.
My understanding is by what he said, we're supposed to keep a journal.
Yeah. So.
And it's that document of what if or what not what if, but.
No, so that's different. Okay, so I talked with the professor yesterday. So what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to each week just keep a journal that you maybe update at the very end of the week, kind of what you learned about, different things you had difficulties with, just kind of a journal entry of what you did that week.
Okay.
Because the journal entry, you're not going to turn it in, but you're going to use it to make a summary of the entire semester for your final reflection, which is in the what if.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And then
Now, go ahead.
And then to get him to look at our code, where do we put that? Or does he just automatically go by our JSON or by our websites and look at our portfolio there?
No, so this is what he told me we should do. So you go to assignments. Is everyone looking at my screen?
Yep.
Let me make sure that the video is actually looking at my screen. There we go. Okay, so you're going to come in here under assignments, and there's code topics and app design and creation design assignment, okay? You're going to click on this. This is the rubric. So these are all the code topics on the side here.
Okay.
With the different point bases. You're going to come all the way down to the bottom. You're going to type in, hey, Brother James, this is my local storage that I just did this week. Here's the link. You drop the link in. You don't have to drop in a GitHub link because he can do the inspect element, look at everything. But then you have to submit a file. It doesn't have to be, it can be a blank Word document.
Okay.
Just any file. He's not going to look at the file really. Just drop in like a blank Word document so it will actually upload something and then put everything in the comments so he can click on it really easily rather than having to open the file. And then he will go in and actually go open it and go, oh, I got a new notification. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to go look at the thing. And then he's going to add some comments and he's going to go ahead and go click one of these to say either skilled working basic for the one that you sent him or the 3 that you sent him or whatever that you sent him.
Okay.
Oh, what the?
And that's for the upload documentation portion, not the requested fluency. That's a different thing. So this is just letting him know, hey, I've got something done on this code topic. To actually request a fluency, there's the under content.
What do you mean by fluency? What are we supposed to do on that?
So this is a fluency meeting. This is where you're going to meet with the teacher and you're going to go over the different things that you did or do something to show that you are fluent in it. Versus just, oh, here's some code that I threw up that I don't actually understand. You actually have to prove that you understand it.
So we have to meet with him how often?
According to the, let me go back out here to the overview. come to the objectives, there's a little schedule here. This is just a sample schedule. But so as often as needed, interact with the instructor, different
Every
things. So
other
I'm
week.
assuming that it would be either every other week or maybe even every 3 weeks.
So have you guys done that yet?
I
No,
haven't.
Okay.
no. So that's just for when you've actually got some code topics done to the point where, okay, you've submitted them. He now says he's given you feedback on it. You fixed it, kind of thing. And then you go request a fluency meeting to say, okay, you've looked through my code. You've now said that I'm skilled in these 4. I'd like to request a fluency on these 4 and then get that turned in. That's my assumption.
So do we actually do meet with him? He doesn't just review it and then give us feedback. We have to.
No, he
set up
does review it and give feedback. It's once you get up to, I think, skilled or up to something, to a point on several topics that you can say, okay, now I want to request a fluency.
And so is that a separate piece of points that we get? Is there a fluency score?
Let me look under grades and see if I can give you an answer. There's accountability, personal group plans, scheduling.
Mickey's playing with the sink.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Nikki, get out of the sink, girl. Yeah, I don't know where it is, to be honest.
Huh? Okay. Well,
It might just be part of that code topics and UML diagram code topics.
It's a pos.
well,
It's a possibility.
there are 10 points apiece for the code topics, and there's 13 of them. So that's 130 points right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know. I'll worry about that when we.
Yeah, and you can always ask him tomorrow
Yeah.
because he'll have that office hour. Okay. So we were going to have, according to our teaching schedule, that we will probably have to add another week on because we've all got 4. We'll need to add week 10 in here somehow. And some of us are actually teaching. There's 3 of us teaching. John, me, and Michael are all teaching on the same weeks, and Jason's by himself, so we'll have to switch one of us to even.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I'd be okay doing this week as well as next week in order to get us all back on track.
I'd kind of like to go in the order that somewhat he has, because I mean, honestly, like some of these topics here, I have no flipping idea what they are.
Yeah.
I mean, Ajax to me is a detergent that cleans something on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, the professor was talking about how it was like a dish soap, and I was like, yeah, it's a really bad dish soap. Don't get it.
Yeah. But I mean, there's things I don't know. I mean, the first couple ones that we've done, I get because they're pretty basic. But
yeah, and we're semi going in order this week. We're skipping JSON here, but Ajax requesting a JSON file kind of goes over it because right now we're doing this one, that one, and then this one.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can switch it around so that we're kind of going down the list and then revisiting topics on some weeks. We can figure it out.
Okay.
At the end of the after all of us present, we can go over this again.
Okay.
So why don't we have John?
The anxiety's going down a little bit, but I don't think we're into the deep stuff yet.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. You guys know a lot more than I do, so I'm just kind of trying to stay alive here.
No, I think you're getting
Well-
it. Seeing your website.
Oh, dude, that's basic stuff.
I know, but I mean, we're all going to be learning this stuff, so it's
And basically, it's going to be the same kind of setup for the next several weeks. We're going to meet together on Wednesdays. We're going to submit something up to our website every week and move on.
Yep.
By the way, I did talk with the professor, and he said that each of the links that we have for the code topics on our website, each of the links can get to maybe a working understanding by themselves. A skilled understanding is where you merge several topics
Yes.
together.
Yeah, he said that in the last tonight.
Okay.
Like the JavaScript when he says that, well, you get into the JSON and those that you're going to be doing JavaScript junk in there that it will all merge together with arrays and that type of stuff.
Meaning you can add other links at the bottom of your table to say, here's a skilled understanding of these 4 topics or something.
Oh, cool.
Or you can add another link that says, here, this is, so all the other ones have been submitted and they've all been put as working, but now here's a skilled one. So, and then he can check that.
Okay.
Someone was asking a question, sorry.
Oh, no, I mean, so are the rest of you just trying to combine all these topics into massive web pages, or are you trying to separate these out at first and then try combining topics later on? I would just think it would save a lot of time, you know, if you just started incorporating all of these, you know, into one, you know, a few big web pages or something like that, so that you could get to the skilled portion maybe. I don't know.
You could do that.
Uh-huh.
My problem is I wouldn't know what to do, as in
exactly.
topic-wise.
That was
Right.
one thing the professor kind of came into, is that if you're working to try and push every single topic into one web page, you're going to miss something. You're going to, it's going to kind of conglomerate together and you won't understand it as much. Whereas if you take it piece by piece, you kind of understand it a little bit better, and then you can kind of merge them all. But you don't have to do each one by itself, like the JavaScript.
Right.
Yeah.
And different things, or the Ajax, local storage, JSON. I mean, those you can put all together.
Right.
You know, different things.
Okay.
Some of them naturally will go together.
I'm doing them separate just because I don't know. I'm learning them.
Right.
I wouldn't know how to put them together right now anyway.
But at the end, in order to get skilled, we have to show that we can, you know, use JSON and Ajax together like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he said basically you can have 2 or 3 links that show all of the code topics together, meaning it's not all of them into one link, but you've got maybe 3 of them in this one link, you've got 5 of them in this other link, and then you've got the remaining in the third link, to where you've kind of combined different things naturally.
Okay.
But not forced, meaning it's not like, oh, well, here's a CSS animation on a canvas object. But, you know, it doesn't make sense to do that.
Right. Okay.
So as long as it flows naturally, you can have different links for those.
Okay.
Alrighty.
It's this one. So this one's not skilled.
Okay. Any other questions before we get started? We can always come back at the end for questions too.
No, guess we could probably better get going. We're running out of time. So.
Yeah. As it is, we've got 15 minutes till the hour mark.
Yeah.
Which, if we need to, I can totally present next week. But I don't mind presenting this week if everyone's okay staying a little later.
Either way, mine's not that long. I won't take 15 minutes. I can tell you that.
Okay. All right.
Whatever.
Well, let's just get going and see how the time flows.
Okay.
Who's first?
John's first.
John's first. Okay.
Yeah, John, then Michael, then me.
So do we need to record this or not?
It's been recording this whole time.
Oh, dang. I take back some of those things I said. You didn't say that earlier. No, I'm just kidding. Okay,
Too
so
late.
I need to share my screen, right?
Yes.
That'll be
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been recording the whole time. That way we got what the teacher said, so that we could look back on it if we needed to a refresher on what he said.
Okay. So can you guys see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Whoa. My problem is I can't see. Oh, there it is. Let me go back to the beginning. Okay. So when I first started studying this topic and I started going through all the different pieces, my biggest question was what's the difference between arrays versus objects? You guys probably already know most of this stuff, but just a couple things I wanted to put at the beginning that rays are ordered in the order in which, they add items, say they do like the 0, starts with 0 and goes 1, 2. So that's all put in order. Objects are not stored. They're, or I should not say stored, they're unordered, meaning you can go pull them in a different fashion. And then I just gave a couple examples on the right side that kind of shows that, here's how an array is set up like we talked about last week. And then this is kind of an example of how they do objects on the JavaScript side. So an object overview, an object is a collection of properties, and properties an association between a name and a value. Can I give an example of what an object would be like on the side where you got a cup is the object, and then the properties would be the pieces of the object. So like the color, the design, the weight, or the material it is made of. And then in JavaScript, an object is a standalone entity with properties and type. This makes sense to you guys, right? I mean, I'm sure you've done all this stuff in your programming stuff before. So objects and properties, when a JavaScript variable is declared, you use the keyword new. So as you can see, like when you create the object down the bottom, my car in the example, you put new in front of it when you're creating that object. A JavaScript has properties associated with it. A property of an object can be explained as a variable that is attached to that object. Kind of like we talked, like it shows here, where now forward is attached to make, which is part of the my car object. And then to create an object, I kind of showed just an HTML example on how you actually create the object. So this one is creating a book object, and they're throwing in like subject and author on the different lines down there. And then, so that's the script part. One thing I kind of had problems with when I was studying this part is how do I get that out of the script and put it on the screen? And you can see that in the body where it's, you can do a document right, or when I get to one of the other examples, it shows how you, I'm not good with the terminology, the names, but remember that part where you can put like an ID in its place, ID.demo or whatever. That was another way that I was able to pull it out onto the screen, which I'll show here in a second. Now methods are actions that can be performed on objects. Here's that piece I was talking about right here. That's how you pull it out with the ID name on example to the right. And then methods are stored in properties and function definitions. And then right below it, I kind of showed the kind of the syntax on how that is done. And then off to the right, it kind of shows you how the script is written. And actually, this is kind of how I did my code when I get to my code part, where it will take the name, the last name, the age. I did hair color. I didn't do the eye color, and I'll show you that in a minute. Inside that function, it brings it across. And then down at the bottom, it shows you how you populate, where you populate into the object Sally or the different property fields. And then you got the document, the get element by ID. That's the part I was telling you about. Well, this is how you present it on the screen by calling it up above with the ID name. It took me a while to figure that part out and how to get new lines. I tried different ways, and I'll show you in my code where I saw some stuff where you can put like a bracket BR for break and then bracket. I can never get that piece to work. I don't know if you guys have done any of that, but
sometimes you have to do two. Sometimes it's if you've got two blocks that when you do a break between them, it just adds one new line, which happens to be just moving it
just to the next line. Yeah.
So sometimes you have to do a second one to actually push it down.
It was really interesting because when I worked on my code, it was easy getting the object created and then adding the properties to it. My hardest part was getting it to display on the screen, which shouldn't be that hard. But like I had to put one line, I had to put the name, the first name, last name I added together, and then I tried to put a space or a return, and then put like age and then, you know, hair color. I'll show you that. I'll show you that in a second. Actually, I'm going to show it to you right now.
Okay.
So here's kind of how I did the code. Let's see if you guys can see this. Can you guys see that screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So I went through, and the first part, of course, is the HTML piece. And this is where I pull in. I actually used employees' names at work. And these, I used 3 using the function call, which you'll see right down here, where I created the function person with the object and the properties. And then down here is where I put them all together. If I highlight it, can you guys see it or not?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you're able to see that or not. So I use actually guys at work. These are actually real people. But this is how I put them all together. And this is how I had to get that break to work that I was telling you about. If I put that / on the end, it worked. If I didn't put the /, it wouldn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I did different research on it. And that's finally the one I got to get it to work.
With
So
the slash on it is an earlier version of HTML, whereas without the slash, I think that's an HTML5. And so the fact that you're using it with JavaScript, it probably liked the older HTML versus the newer. It may not have support for the newer.
Okay, well, that makes sense. I couldn't get it to work. I tried all different things, and it just stupid wouldn't work. So I created, you know, the 3 different employees using this type of format, using the method function piece, and then the bottom, I just did the literal one that shows it where you're taking the names and just dumping them into the object down here, and doing the same thing, but just a different way of doing it. So if you come back to this piece and go to the website view, go to my object section, that's kind of how it shows up on the screen using the 4 different views.
Very nice.
I mean, I guess it's fairly basic. I'm not sure what else you could kind of do with the type of, you know, using objects, but and there's probably more to it. That's probably why I teach this multiple times, but that's basically my part of it. Is there anything that you guys would like to add to it that I kind of missed, or?
I think you covered it pretty well.
I think my biggest part on it is when would I use one and when would I use the other? You know what I mean? When would I dump it into an array and do it the array format, or when would I do it using objects? So
Well, I know that in Java, objects are used all over the place with when you're doing like a person over and over and over again, to where you can go in and you have that name and you have that hair color, and it's easy to populate because you just say, oh, well, I need a new person and I needed to have this name, this address, this, versus an array, which you would have to come up with each of the things to put in it, and it, you know, like you said, it's ordered, and versus the unorderedness of an object, which makes it nice.
You're right. It's really nice to be able to use it. Like you said, you can use a name to pull it out instead of having to figure out what array number it was placed in, you know, 1 through 5 or whatever.
Not only that, but you can use an array to now reference that object, which you can sort. So say you wanted to sort your objects by last name. You wouldn't be able to do that with an object. But if you took all of your objects and put them into an array as a reference, then you could sort it. So you use them together, use them kind of interchangeably. It's actually funny that we happen to do objects this week, because my C# class it went over loops and conditionals and different things, which we did last week, and then this week was about objects, and so it's kind of following that pattern.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, that's cool. Well, I do have to tell you, it was fun learning this stuff this week. When I saw the topic that I had signed up for, it kind of scared me there for a minute.
I think you got it. Thanks, John.
So am I still sharing my screen, or did I get out of it somehow?
I think you're out of
No,
it now.
you're out of it now.
Okay.
Okay. Let me get my stuff.
Yeah, you're good, John. You took about 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Because they said like 10 to 15, so we don't have to take the whole 15.
Okay, so let me get my. So let me see if I'm getting used to a new laptop and it's weird.
I totally understand that.
So is this topic both Ajax and JSON?
No, it's. I was a bit confused about what mine was until. So I'm using mostly. I think it's using Ajax to get a JSON file.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Ajax requesting a JSON file.
Okay.
So let's see if this works.
I can only handle one topic at a time.
Yeah. So basically, this is I lost my PowerPoint, so I tried to rebuild it. But basically, Ajax is it's asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Basically, it can allow web pages to be updated with data without having to refresh the page. So, like, you can press a button and it just appears. And just all these images I pulled from W3 Schools, which is a fantastic resource. But just grabs from information from the browser. It's not a programming language. It uses mostly JavaScript and stuff to pull it, and the built, and also the main core of it is this XML HTTP request, which is where it pulls the data from whatever file. In this case, it's pulling it from a text file. And an example, let me refresh this. This is a stripped down thing I used in 2.13, but so yeah, there's for example, this just pulls it from and takes away the files. Here's how it's the rest of them built on time, but this is the JSON file it's reading, and my code is right here. Pulling just basically this is the core of it. Just pulls it in it. I'm not sure if I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to do because I'm doing a bit of parsing with the JSON.parse thing, so I'm not entirely sure.
I think you're on the right track because that's how it would request a JSON file, I believe, is by parsing.
Yeah, so I'm grabbing it I'm giving it the file name and making a request. Because I've done this before and I'm trying to exactly remember if I parsed the file by request, but I'm not sure if I'm actually doing what the teacher wants. But this is basically it. It I put the results of the parse into a variable, and then I can add that one to it by name. I'm not sure if there's a way to. I know there's probably a way to iterate through it, like go through a loop and pull it out without having to use the exact like XML name, like the names of the columns. This is because I'm not quite sure I'm close to being done with. I'm not even close to being done with the mastery assignment because I didn't see that spreadsheet that
he sent out. Can I ask a question really quick? And this is not just related to this; it's related to the object stuff I did. I was trying to figure out what this statement means. I mean, that's a file I know you use, but how does it work? This dot ready state.
Gosh, I wish I can explain it. Let me.
Did you know what that means, Melissa? That this command or
I would be guessing, but
okay.
what I think it's supposed to do is it's doing the line right before it is an xhttp.open, so it's doing a get to get the file name, and then I would assume it's saying on ready state change, meaning once the page is ready, then do this function. I think. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I'd have to look more into it. I haven't worked too much with JSON parsing and Ajax that much. So
Let me look and see if I can find one. It's
So JSON is pulling from a file.
yeah, basically there's I have a file which is a JSON file, which I'll again
What does
bring up right here.
JSON stand for?
JavaScript object notation. It's kind of like, if you know what XML is, it's just basically a way of storing data and exchanging it. Yeah.
okay, so on ready state change defines a function to be called when the ready state property changes. The ready state holds the status of the XHTML or XML HTTP request. 0 is request not initiated. 1 is server connection established. 2 is the request was received. 3 is the processing request, and 4 is the request finished and response is ready.
Okay.
That's W3 Schools for you. I'll drop that link in Slack.
Yeah.
Good to know someone's getting my Slack messages. I heard that ding.
That's yeah, so I probably will keep working on this and kind of maybe try to post better what my findings and try to explain it a bit better, because I kind of suck at explaining stuff.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah.
That's the whole point of this teaching experience, is to go through and to show what you thought you knew, have everyone else kind of help you out, and then you build a bigger understanding of what it actually is.
Yeah, because I think a lot of I took CS 213, which is web development. And I think I did a lot of, looking back, I think I did a lot more copy pasting than I should have, and not really understanding how to do this.
Yeah, that's funny. I did 313, which is like PHP Java. Is that what 213 was?
No, 213.
Web development.
Yeah, it's web development. So we do JavaScript. We do some. Actually, we did some. We did JavaScript and PHP near the end. We did a decent amount, but it wasn't nothing intense.
That's funny that they don't have that for the web development major. Anyway.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Good stuff.
All right. So.
Do you want to do yours, or do you just want to plan it for next?
I can be quick.
Next time, okay.
That way you guys all kind of get a little bit of what it's supposed to look like.
Oh, it says you have 15 slides.
Ooh.
I'm just kidding. It wasn't 15 slides.
Most of them are like, they've got a little information on it. But I am long-winded. I'm sorry. So, first is, what is HTML local storage? This was something that when I saw the code topics, I was like, what in the world is local storage? And the professor was like showing examples of it. And I'm like, what is what is local storage? Like, I just didn't understand what it was. So after looking at it, local storage is a way to store data locally within the user's browser. So before HTML5, you stored in cookies or, different things that you're included in every server request. Every time you needed something, you sent a cookie, and then you sent another cookie, and you sent another cookie. That it was very inconvenient. Whereas local storage is a lot more secure. You can do a large amount of data without affecting your website performance. And unlike cookies, you can store your storage in it is a lot larger in the information it's never transferred to the server. It's all local based. And local storage is per origin or per domain and protocol, meaning that if you had a local storage on one of your domains, it would work through any page that you had on that domain, is what it looks like. So local storage provides two objects. The first is window.localStorage, which is the way that you can store data without an expiration date. So it's like a cookie with no expiration. It just is always up. And you get window.sessionStorage, which is only for one session. So data's lost when you close the browser tab. Note that you need to make sure that your browser actually supports the local storage before using. So anytime you do a local storage, anything, you have to make sure that you have all of that inside this if type of storage does not equal undefined. Because otherwise, if it's undefined, none of your code is going to work and it's going to die. So how do you use it? To create and receive, you can either do local storage.setItem, so you're setting bar into foo, and then setting the result.inner HTML to this get item of bar, so your result will contain the word foo. Or you can do it with a dot. So you would just say local storage.bar equals foo, and then your result would still have foo. Oh, I forgot to change the last name. That's okay. To delete something, you would do local storage.remove item. Now, I don't know of any way to rewrite the statement like in the other one where you did set item, get item versus just the dot bar. I don't know of any way to rewrite it. So it's just always going to be remove item, and then you remove it by the key. Now, it talked about in the local storage that I needed to talk about associative arrays. So like other JavaScript objects, you can treat the local storage object as an associative array because it uses key value pairs. So instead of using the get item and the set item, like we were doing in the last example, you can do it with just square brackets. So you could say local storage square brackets bar, or you could do local storage dot bar, or you could do local storage dot get item, meaning all of that would do kind of the same thing. Now, if I've confused you entirely, I'm sorry, but there's many ways to do it.
Well, you got array and associative array. What's the definition of associative array?
An associative array is where it associates different things. So
With a key.
it uses a name versus a number. So an array has 0, 1, 2,
Yes,
3.
yes. Okay.
Versus associative, which you can have bar or
Okay.
last name or first name.
That makes sense now. Thanks.
Okay. So here's a basic example. So say you've got this button. You click the button and it will tell you how many times you've clicked the button. Okay. The code for this kind of shows you here's that if storage doesn't equal undefined. You're going to do a local storage.click count, meaning if it's not created, you're going to set it to 1. Otherwise, you're just going to up it every time. And then you're just going to put that into the inner HTML. You've clicked this button however many times this has been incremented. Otherwise, sorry, your browser doesn't support the web storage. Okay, and this is a non-expiring object. This is the local storage one. Versus this is a session one, an expiring object. To where if you click it, it will show you clicked it 6 times. And then when you close out of the browser tab, it will show you that you haven't clicked it at all.
No, tell them I'll call them.
So the difference between the code is that this is now a session storage versus a local storage. The rest of the code is basically the exact same.
Oh, nice.
Just the difference with the session storage. So we can go look at this example. Now, I've been playing around with it a lot, so my click me button is going to be at like 21 times. Because, I checked it a lot and kept clicking it. Versus this example should be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And then if I copy this, close out, and then re-put it back in, and then click it, it's back to 1. Versus this one's now at 22. So it expired as I close the tab. Now, this is really funny. If you duplicate it up here, it's the same session. It's just it doesn't get rid of the session, which is really funny.
Is your browser still
So-
open?
Yeah. Well, meaning if I close the tab, the session for that one tab is gone. But if I duplicate the tab,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I don't know if it would make a difference if I closed that one and then clicked it. No, see, it still says 2 times. So it just
Yeah.
duplicated whatever that one session's tab was. See, now it's at 2, whereas when I duplicated it before, it was at 3 or 4. Anyway, kind of an interesting thing. So if you ever need to like extend your local storage, just duplicate the tab.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions?
So where does it store this? I mean, is it just stored in some file somewhere on?
So it's stored in the browser. So the way I would understand it to be stored is if you inspect it, and I think it's if you look under network. Ooh, go away. Yeah, so local storage
Oh, okay.
here, there's a response and a header. Ooh. And it tells you that there was a request. I think this is where you would see it, but I'm not seeing anything else. So, whoa. Oh, well, then maybe that's because I haven't clicked anything. Yeah, cookies, I think. Not actually sure.
Hmm.
So,
Oh,
something I would have to
nah, I was just wondering.
look
It's not
into.
that big of a deal.
Yeah, I wondered where it stored it too, but just know it's stored in the browser somewhere. The teacher knows where it is because obviously he has to check it.
So does each browser then would have its own local storage area? So if you brought this
I
up in
believe
if you brought this up in a different browser, it wouldn't have that information in it.
Well, no. I would assume that with a non-expiring one, it would still rewrite it because it's a different browser. So say if I were to open,
Let's say you opened up Chrome. Would Chrome have?
This is Chrome. Let me open up Firefox.
Oh,
Yeah. So I clicked it one time. So it's its
Yeah,
own
so-
local storage.
that its own storage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, that was a good question. Do we have any other questions?
So this is more secure, you said, than the use of cookies and that?
Correct. Because a cookie can be accessed by the server sometimes
Oh, I see.
versus local storage, which the server will never touch.
Confined. Okay. Huh. Good to know.
That, and I think hackers could probably grab onto cookies.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm taking one of those system security classes right now. We're just talking about like sessions and things like that, how they can be exploited. But yeah, I think it is, like you say, it's a little more secure than cookies.
Yep. Well, I mean, a cookie is basically like a session, but more locally stored than a session. So,
Yeah.
but your session can access a cookie in your sessions on the server, I think. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was talking about something like if the hacker gains access to your session key, then they can use that to communicate with the server. And yeah, so.
And all is lost.
Yep.
Yeah. Security is an interesting topic. I'm taking that system security class either next semester or the next one.
Yeah, it's
But
actually a lot
my
more.
sister is a big pen tester, so.
It's a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
My last slide is just the references I used. So,
Okay.
see, it wasn't 15 slides. It was technically
I was
7.
joking. I saw that before you started. How many it was? I was just joking. You said you were long-winded, so.
Yeah, so it was like 15 slides. I tried to be really brief, though.
Yeah. No, you're good. I'm just giving you a hard time.
All right. I hope the live broadcast got that. I forgot to switch it over to my screen down here, so it might have been looking at Michael's screen this whole time.
Oh no.
Oh well. He'll be able to hear me, right?
Yeah, that's all right.
I've been trying to make sure that when I, leave this, that it is on the right thing. Oh well. He'll see the little teeny bar down here moving.
That's right.
That, and if Michael was looking at my screen, he probably saw it, so we're good.
Yeah.
My screen share's off too, though.
Oh, but your screen share was off. Oh, darn.
Yeah.
That's okay. Probably lose professionalism points for that.
Uh-oh. I doubt it.
All right. Well,
Uh,
let's look at this teaching schedule real quick, just to make
Okay.
sure on who's teaching next week, and maybe see if we want to rearrange some of these topics.
I think so far I'm the only one teaching next week. Is that right? 'Cause it was
Yeah.
just me and Mark. Yeah, every
Yeah,
even week.
Yeah, but I can switch over to even weeks now, so it'll just be you and me, and then John and Michael, if you want. So, and we need to each add a third one on here anyway, because there's week 10.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Or maybe, no, I'm sorry. Maybe it's only 2 of us that get 5. I don't know.
Maybe it was just
We'll figure.
add some of the later topics.
Okay, so let's take a look at this real quick.
Well, we should probably kind of look at it too, thinking really which ones do we need multiple
That was my next thing.
discussions on?
Loops, we
Yeah.
probably don't.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. All these first ones, I don't think we need to, but maybe down below the.
Yeah, I mean, JSON, AJAX, and local storage we might need to, because they kind of all go together. He was mentioning domination, we would probably need it more than once, versus HTML5 tags, we probably don't need it more than once. Which, that's funny. Didn't Mark? Oh, that's right. Yeah, because Mark already taught this one, so we could probably take that one
Yeah,
out
we don't need that one again. That was pretty basic.
and that one out.
You just took all mine away.
Well, now you
I'm
got to
just
pick
kidding.
2 new ones. So which 2 other ones do you want to do, John?
You know what? Doesn't matter to me. I mean, I've got to learn them all anyway, so whatever.
Right. Which 2 look most appealing to you to want to learn? Do you want to learn more about DOM manipulation? Do you want to?
I don't even know what the heck. How am I supposed to answer that one? I don't even know what the heck it is.
Like I said, what sounds most appealing to you, not what. Nah, since you know it all, sounds good. Meaning, just okay. Maybe we'll come back to you. Michael, I think you are set because you go up to week 9.
Okay.
Jason and I need to add an extra because I need to switch mine all over to even weeks now. So I need to pick up another one for next week and then change a couple things. So since you just taught about Ajax, maybe we'll put this one at week 10. That way we get kind of a refresher at the end. These ones will both be even weeks. So maybe this one we could do week 4. That way there's a significant enough between that, unless you think this one doesn't need to be taught again.
That one might not need to be taught again. I think maybe we could do without.
Okay.
But maybe we need to teach it a little earlier.
Okay, Jason,
I don't know.
do you want to teach that one?
Yeah,
Or...
I can teach that if you like. Well, I'm already teaching
Okay.
it. It's like a week gig, but we can.
Right. Do you want to teach it earlier?
Yeah, I can do. I'm teaching JSON parse and stringify next week, but
you could do it week 6 and put this
week
one
6.
down here.
Yeah, let's do that. That'll work.
Okay. And now you need to pick one for week 10.
Yeah, let's let me do I'll just do the very last one there, designing, defining, and triggering CSS3 animations.
Okay, and I can change mine from week 9 because I need to change mine anyway.
Okay.
So this one I could put at like week 6. That way there's a significant amount between them.
Yeah.
This one, oh, I just did that one. Okay, so we're fine there. But I need to do 4, 8, and 10. So I need to pick 3 more. Which one do you think needs to be taught more often? But I think he talked about DOM needing to be taught more than once. So I could do DOM.
Yeah.
Maybe I could do that one next week.
That'd
That
be a good
way,
one.
because this one's week 7.
Mhm.
Should we switch these two so that this one's maybe week 9? That way it gives more of a jump between these two. And then we learn manipulating CSS class properties earlier.
That'd be good.
And everyone just jump in. I don't need to totally take full control on this.
Hey, you're doing good.
I just had it up, so. Okay, what else needs to be taught more than once?
I don't know much about these last 3 topics, the
Same.
CSS3 transitions, transforms, and animations. So maybe we could kind of double up on those. I don't know.
Okay. So since John and I both need more, John, why don't you take one of these? Do you want transitions or transforms?
Transitions.
Transitions, okay. And since that's week 8, let's put you on. Let's do this one week 5, and let's change this one since we just taught it to week 7. Maybe even week 9, just so that it's far enough away from when I did it. Okay, now you need a week 7. And I could do this one, I guess.
Week 8. Okay.
8. Yeah. Okay, now what's your week 7? Do you want to maybe go over JSON parsing or Ajax or?
So tell me this: the designing and defining and triggering CSS transitions.
Oh, this one's not even done at all.
Does the one above it need to go in first? The creating CSS transitions and animations, or is that? I mean, does that need to the one you're on right now? Does that need to come before I do number 12, or not?
Maybe.
I'm just asking if we need to know that one before we start doing the designing and defining.
I don't know, but this one right here hasn't even been done. Standard JavaScript events, including those for mobile devices. This one hasn't been done at all. This one shows it hasn't been done, but it's because Mark did it the first week.
Yeah.
So what should we do for, should we have you do this one, or would you rather do one of these other ones and I can jump up and do this one?
Beats me. I don't even know what it is. I'd have to study it.
So do you want it?
I can try it.
Okay. Because we do have someone doing this one at least once, and I think that one probably only needs to be once. Same with that one. This is good to have 2 on. This one's probably good to have 2 on because I didn't go very in depth. That one's probably good to have 2 on. JSON parse and stringify we could probably incorporate into this Ajax request one here so that we get it both times. So we should be fine there. Those we only need once. And then each of these we can get twice. So that's probably good.
Yeah, that looks pretty good to me.
Okay. Now the other thing, was the group teaching schedule. I talked with the professor, and apparently we're supposed to have a personal teaching schedule as well, but not necessarily a teaching schedule. So I kind of started doing this here, where you have each of the topics and then you have a week number. and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to turn in some stuff for this one on this week and turn in some stuff for this one on this week, so that he kind of sees a little bit of an accountability of, okay, so by the end of week 3, I should have something from local storage from Melissa. And it's kind of an accountability check.
Where are we turning that in?
It
Just in
should
that
be on
same-
that same group thing. So where we're going to return this one in,
Okay.
just upload both files. You could probably add another sheet on here that says on here personal. And then this one is group. And just let them know in there, hey, the personal is on the second sheet.
Okay. All right.
So
So
anyway,
2 through week 10. Okay, that'll work.
yeah, just so he knows, okay, it's kind of a little bit of accountability that so-and-so is going to do this and
Yeah.
on this week.
Okie doke. So it's, let's see. So it's just me teaching next week then? Looks like.
No, I'm teaching with you. I'm just
Oh.
going to double. I'm just going to double weeks. That way we can get back on track. Otherwise, it's going to be 1 and 3 and 1 and 3, and that won't work.
Yeah.
So I'm taking one for the team.
Thanks for doing that.
Nah, the teaching is actually not bad. And it's honestly, if I could make a presentation on every topic, it was probably nice for me to kind of go over it and figure it out. I think I'm
Sure.
going to go make a presentation on every topic, but
Yeah.
it's just kind of nice to be able to have that little bit of extra. But we're going to be creating the examples for each topic, so that's enough.
Yeah.
So how are you guys keeping your journal? Are you doing that in a certain, just in a Word doc or?
Yeah, I just have mine in a Word doc, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. Mine's really simple.
Yeah. I'll have to save that.
And then you're just at the end of each week, you're just kind of writing what you've done this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll just at the end, I just say, okay, here's week 2 with a bullet. This is what I did, and well, here I could probably just bring it up. It's not. I didn't do it super long. Where is it? Oh, golly. Apparently, I didn't have it open just not long ago. Just as kind of an example. So I just have, like, week 3, we met together as a group twice. We met Tuesday to create our teaching schedule, blah, 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 blah. First presentation was on this. Second was on this one. Then, different things that got the portfolio homepage set up, just different things that I did that week, things that I learned from the presentations, just little bits of kind of what we
Pieces you've
learned.
done.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then at the end of week 3, I'll kind of talk about my experience in researching to present and any other code topics that I'm going to put together, because I'm a week behind in my own kind of accountability, and that I was going to be putting something up for HTML5 and the loops, but now that we don't have to do the loops link and just incorporate in something else,
Okay.
we'll figure it out. So
Works.
oh, didn't realize that was still open. Anyway.
Okay. I think it's time for dinner.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you're still not recording, right?
Oh, no, it's still recording. I'll turn it off.